So here we are. We're on a bench, much like that song.
I'm on a bench.
I'm on a bench.
You're
I'm on a
touching
boat.
a bench.
I wouldn't call yourself a bench. Girl, you're a bench. We've been in a lot of different areas today.
This is nice.
This is not. I think this is my favorite so far.
This would be a really nice house. Like,
Yeah.
if you lived alone and
Yeah.
then you could glass it in.
Yeah.
Wait, if it were a different spot, because I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to watch children playing all day. But
Yeah. Your house is in a public park
Yeah.
with glass walls.
That sounds like a
get
modern
arrested.
art piece or something.
Yeah, it does. Shia LaBeouf's probably interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if this were like, if my house were this size and I was alone,
Yeah.
I would be, and if it was like in a meadow or something,
Yeah.
I would be really happy because
Yeah.
this is basically like you could put like a twin size bed
Oh, yeah.
in one of the corners.
You have a ton of room in here.
Yeah,
If you have a twin.
and then like
Small
you know,
kitchen
like
area.
like a little like chair, like a reading chair, or whatever you need to
Okay,
sit
thank
in,
you.
not to read.
Okay, thank you.
And then like a kitchen. Like
Yeah.
this is actually really big space.
This is a big space if those, and then maybe like a couch, a small couch.
Yeah.
The futon.
Yeah. Put a
cool.
rug down just to tie the room together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Wasn't it you who told me about that movie where that guy is like making that small house on Netflix? It's a documentary.
I did, and I think I said I wanted to punch him in the face
Oh, you
the
didn't like
entire
him?
time. I thought he was so annoying.
He was pretty dumb. Yeah, I didn't watch that and feel like he was like a hero, but it was interesting, that movement. Do you remember what the documentary was called?
Tiny? How?
Tiny Living, maybe, or something. Living Tiny.
Living small.
living small.
Something.
Livingston.
Some kind of word
yeah.
that is the same as tiny or small, and
Yeah.
some type of word that's related to living.
Yes, that's correct. I think that was the actual title of the movie, what you just said. But yeah, this kind of reminds me of that. This would actually be a lot bigger than a lot of the spaces that they showed on that, too,
Yeah.
I think, in terms of square footage.
I would want, honestly, though, I would want the top of it,
Yeah.
maybe, or like at least a bit of the top of it to be some kind of
Skylight.
deck or something.
Oh,
So like if you had like half of it that was like skylight,
Yeah.
and then half of it that was like had a little staircase from
Yeah.
outside
Yeah,
or
totally.
inside that could go up and you could sit out
yeah.
and have like plants up there and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thanks.
I'm getting emotional. Yeah, I think even if it was a really small space, I think as long as you had something to go, like if you had an outdoor area where you could feel the vastness of everything, especially like you said, if it's like in a meadow or something, I think that you would be pretty well balanced to not feel like it was too small.
Yeah. So
I'm glad we figured that out.
miracle team.
Miracle team. Yeah.
So this week I went home.
Yeah.
And just for the day, or like, I went home and
24-hour period or something.
about that much.
You stayed there, right? You spent the
Yeah,
night.
with my parents. And so where my parents live is like on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. And next to them on the same side of the road is my grandparents' house. And then across from my grandparents' house is this house that nobody lives in. And there was like an old man who lived there for a really long time, and now his daughter owns it because she inherited it, and she's selling it. And it's a house on 10 acres. And my dad was telling me, he was like, I bet Miss Carol would like accept like $70,000 for that house and property. And I was just thinking about it, and then I like became obsessed to the idea.
Yeah.
And what really it was I was just kind of dreading coming back to Atlanta
Why was that?
because it's too loud here. Like
Yeah.
especially where I live.
Yeah, you're kind of sandwiched between some major roads. Like,
Yeah.
actually more than just sandwiched. It's like every single side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every night it's just sirens and fire trucks and
People screaming.
people like going through the dumpster and
Yeah.
the dump trucks coming through like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I want to be in the country so badly, but I can't because
not realistic for everything.
For Viraj,
Yeah.
like he can't work
Right.
in a place where there's not really.
How much of a commute would that be? Like 2 hours at least?
To my parents' house?
If you guys lived in that house, how long would it take him to drive to Atlanta?
3.5 hours.
So 7 hours of his day spent just purely in commuting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your relationship with him would be over very quickly.
Yeah.
That's 2/3
So
or a third of his day.
basically, like I could live there if I wanted to get divorced.
Right.
And my parents even said, like, when my grandparents die, they're getting that house, and they're like, well, we'll just give you that house. Like, you can just have it. And I've thought, like, considered it pretty strongly. Because basically, what I would love is to just have a baby and live in the country. And too, like on that land, like it's big enough that I could have animals. Like I could have cows, not like a ton of cows, but I could have cows.
Yeah.
I could have chickens.
Some dogs.
I would have dogs. I would get another cat.
Yeah.
I could have goats and sheep, like have a horse or two. I mean, it's enough land that I could, and then like his yard though, he was a really cool dude. Like he was really into science.
Okay.
For a guy who lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has like his entire yard is just all the trees in it are fruit trees. So in the summertime, like basically like any kind of fruit, like pomegranate, pears, apples, has muscadine.
Oh, yeah. The vines.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I always steal his. Well, he's dead, so I don't really steal them. But I always take their muscadines in the summertime. And yeah, like across the street, my grandfather has blueberries, and so you know that's a good summer diet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And-
Good smoothies going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the idea just really like stuck with me, and then I immediately tried to figure out how I could make it happen.
Yeah. Well, is this your first time ever living in the city? Like in Atlanta proper? Because like it's hard for me. I wouldn't consider myself a country kind of person, honestly, because like I remember when I was younger, my cousin called me a city boy, and my cousin lives in Indiana, and I took that very offensively, and I was very put off by that because I felt like city people were lame, or at least he made me feel bad about it. I actually had never thought about it before, but the image that you just painted seems more like to fit who you are as I know you and as a person. Because I feel like you would, if you had all of that, you like the things that you like to keep yourself busy with would be plentiful.
Yes.
And like here in Atlanta, you can go for walks and you can explore things like Arabian Mountain, but it seems like your niche is like taking care of things, and not just people, but also like the land, the cows.
Yeah.
There's more to take care of, and in Atlanta, it's kind of like you just have yourself. Because you can't really take care of stuff because everyone is constantly not taking care of whatever you might be taking care of.
Yeah.
People are throwing their garbage out, their diapers, their condoms. There's nothing very beautiful about Atlanta.
Yeah, there's a certain. I mean.
Je ne sais quoi?
Yeah. Well, so I remembered something that's always stuck with me is this guy, this like Celtic poet who died a couple years ago, was doing this interview with Krista Tippett, and he was talking about. I've probably told you this before.
No.
This is one of my reasons for going to grad school is this interview that I heard.
On Point? Was it?
On Being.
Oh, On Being. Okay.
On Being, yeah.
Being.
That's her show.
Yeah.
And so they were talking, and he was talking about people who've like there are people in this world who have only been in cement environments.
Yeah.
And like urban environments.
Oh, maybe you have told me this before, but
yeah,
but
it's
go
like
on.
you know, like.
Wait, sorry to interrupt, but is this that Four Corners thing where like people? Someone told me this thing about how humans. Maybe it was you, maybe it wasn't, and I'll stop if it wasn't you. But it's something about how we're people who were raised in cities and stuff like that. We're used to perfect geometry, like squares that are actual squares, rather than like if you lived somewhere else where maybe nature was more dominant than the human creation. You wouldn't be used to square corners. You'd be used to like sort of the imperfections of life. Actually, this wasn't you. I
No.
remember someone else telling me this, but it sounds similar. So continue. Anyway.
Well, so he just said like something really poignant that I'm not going to try to repeat because
You can paraphrase.
yeah. But he was just talking about the experience of like, because it is like I feel like it is a birthright in a non-Jewish way to like have access to what my life was before I moved and went to college and was in a more urban setting.
Yeah.
To be able to just like get out and like walk around, like be outside and walk around and never actually like use up all the things you haven't seen. Like there's always something that you haven't seen. And then like too, like the changing seasons and just being acquainted with the wildness of the earth is such an important thing to me, and it's becoming more and more important, especially thinking about like having a child. I can't imagine having a child who only knows this. I mean, of course they wouldn't only know this because like I would make sure that they had access to like hopefully there would be like a place we could go, like to my parents' house or have a house in the country somewhere in the mountains, but
this would be their predominant sort of
and I think that there's something so lovely about that. Like there's a certain, I feel like, confidence that comes along with being able to navigate what the city is that city kids have. But I feel like there's like a certain like roughness that comes along with being, I mean, the number of times that I've been out in the woods and just come across like a snake, been like, well, I'm alone, what do I do? Like that's also like an attitude that's important to have in life, like how to navigate, danger. But I mean that exists in the city too.
But it's different kind of like true
danger,
true
like cars
danger.
and people. Instead of like snakes or like falling and twisting your leg or something like that.
Is that kind of what the guy was saying? Just that people that's sort of a dichotomy there.
Just that it's not surprising that callousness comes along with a concrete environment. Like I feel like my experience of my life is that I'm a very raw person. Like I'm pretty open most of the time, and I'm very like severely aware of my environment, and people who have been exposed only to the city are too, in a way, but it's just like it's harsh. It's not soft, and I was just like thinking about it, and I was just like, I don't want to come back. Like, the only reason that I am here now is that like I love people here. Yeah. And if I didn't have people that I loved here, I would just leave. I wouldn't want to be here because I don't feel like there's really anything for me here. And Viraj thinks that I would get bored. Yeah. But I would be significantly less bored there than I am here.
That would be my fear for myself, that I would get bored in the country, because I have gotten bored. Like my parents have a mountain house, and it's a really, really nice place, but I mean, I just, it's like too much relaxation when I go there. It's just like they just kind of like to relax.
But the things that stimulate you are bike rides. What else stimulates you?
Well, they don't have internet access there, which also is like a huge drag, because you go out there and it's like, I guess that as an option isn't one. Because I like going on the internet a lot.
My parents have the internet. Like, it's not...
well, I'm saying that would help.
Yeah.
Like if you did get bored, at least you could like look at something interesting.
Yeah, but like the option for like if you wanted to go out and see a band or something like that, or like go, because I know you like to just like go out sometimes and like see if you run into anybody that you know. Like, that's not really how things go down there. Like, you just like, you have to purposely see people because there's so much space that you don't just run into people. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you would probably get bored, especially if you didn't like want to be like outside, like feeding animals and like trudging around in the mud. And
I would want to do that if it was the only thing to do.
yeah,
I would enjoy it. I mean, if it was like my responsibility and I had to do it, that would be enjoyable. But I guess, I don't know. I guess that type of, I've only ever had city and then suburban living. That's like the only, and suburban living is basically like being in the city. It's just not as cool, I think. Mm-hmm. It's a very similar structure though.
Yeah. I mean, I would be interested, like, to see what your experience would be if you just like went and lived with my parents for like a month, like to see how quickly you got bored.
I wonder. Yeah, a month would be a pretty good trial period.
Yeah.
Figure it out pretty quickly.
But I mean, I don't know. I just can't, and I feel like the person that I'm paired with is pretty intent on always living in the city, and so that's a hard reality
His
to
job sort of necessitates
navigate.
it.
Yeah. I mean, he loves going to my parents' house, and he would love to be able to give me a place. Like, honestly, like our perfect lifestyle would probably be having a house in the mountains, like a couple of hours from here, that I would live in all the time, and then he would come on the weekends and visit.
Yeah.
But I mean that would, because we also like space from one another.
Yeah.
And so that would be probably the right amount of time for like the weekends having
2
that
out
with
of
one
7
another.
days, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just not, it's just hard because I don't, you know, I enjoy Atlanta because of the people that I know here.
But otherwise, it's just like an empty shell. Your friends are standing atop of.
Maybe I just need to find a purpose in this city. Like maybe I need to, you know, like start planting trees or something. I don't know.
Trees Atlanta. I mean, you could. I mean, I kind of felt that way when I was, I think, a sophomore in college. Because I was living in my parents' house, but I was commuting to Atlanta every day, so I felt really disconnected from it. And the only reason I went to Atlanta was to go to school. So it was just like a singular purpose. And I felt like I wanted to do something to make it more meaningful living here, or not living here, but being in the city. So I guess if you could, I feel like I have more confidence in you being able to find that than myself. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I think all I want to do is go for a bike ride. But
and cook a good meal.
Yeah, man, and I'm actually already looking forward to it. I've only done neither of those things so far, but I am looking forward to making a good meal. Having one beer, you're getting me all worked up. I'm getting excited. But I feel like your personality type, you would be more easily able to like integrate yourself into something that you did feel was meaningful.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to find whatever you want to devote that time to. It probably won't be trees, but something.
Yeah.
With the right people who stimulate you in the right way. I mean, you do have a lot of education behind you too, so it's like, I feel like you have maybe, I don't know if you feel this way, but it seems like you have a higher burden of like finding something that's not simply planting trees. Like you have training to do something that's kind of a little bit more powerful than just simply that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that I would be happy if that were all that I did, but it's hard to find because I'm either like overqualified or underqualified for every job that I've applied to.
Right.
And that's just a bummer because I don't want to be like the director of something.
Right.
And people don't trust me to like not get bored just planting trees.
Right.
You know?
Right. Did you hear back from the Little Tart people? Or did you?
Not yet.
That just kind of left it? You said they were looking for a front of house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't hire me because I don't know how to do that. I honestly don't really want to talk to strangers all day long. Like, I don't want to just be like, what would you like? Oh, a sandwich. Okay, cool. Like, give me money.
Yeah.
I'll give you a sandwich. That seems like it would bum me out.
At a certain point, I'm sure it would.
Yeah. I constantly want to be learning. And so, like, the bakery idea, but then they're not hiring for the bakery, so.
Yeah. More interested in the potential of being a nanny then?
Maybe, but so I have an interview with them next Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like meeting the kid and the husband, and I asked them, I was like, well, can I take her places? Like, you know, like outside of the neighborhood? Because I'll get to take her to like swim lessons and stuff, but it's like, can I like take her to Piedmont? You know, can we go to the aquarium?
Day trips.
Whatever.
Stuff,
And she was
yeah.
like, probably not comfortable with like having her in like a car, you know?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well,
Got to sit at home all day and watch TV.
or like play in the yard, but
Yeah. But it is unfortunate if you are in the city and you do have access to those things and you're a nanny, which seems like an opportunity to like enrich a young person's life potentially if you have the wherewithal to do it. It is unfortunate if the parents are like not signing off on a small part of getting that done. But honestly, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with my kids being in a car either with
Yeah.
someone who I didn't really know, because I would hold you at fault if anything happened.
oh yeah, totally.
I would crucify you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Emotionally. But no, not. I wouldn't actually, because I know you well. But if I had to trust a stranger with my child, I would be like very. I don't even trust anyone with Charlie, and he's relatively simple. But yeah, yeah, I understand the hesitation.
No, I totally do too.
Yeah, and Atlanta's like kind of famous for bad traffic.
Yeah.
But still, it's a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
It'd be fun to see. I don't hang out with the young people who are that young, and so
2.
She's 2. Oh wow! I was thinking like 8.
She's 2 years old.
So can 2-year-olds even walk?
They can totter.
Totter. Yeah,
She can walk.
but can she talk? Just like nonsense words.
Slightly
Yeah.
talk.
So you guys wouldn't be going to the high, probably.
I mean, Raj and I had a conversation about if it's dumb to like take your kid places and talk to them about things, you know, like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going to be the type of parent who is constantly like bombarding my kid with like, that is this kind of tree, and like that is this and that is this, and telling them things, because that's the kind of life that I had growing up. Like my parents were very like hands-on as far as like making sure I had like knowledge at my fingertips all the time.
Yeah.
Because I think they both had lives that were more like, maybe my mom started working like picking tobacco when she was like 5 years old. You know, like she had a very like manual life.
Yeah.
And she did that until she got the job that she has now. And I don't think, you know, there wasn't, because there were so many kids, I don't think that there was a lot of like, not that she had shitty parents, but they just were so busy because they were farmers and poor that, you know, like, it's not like they could like take them to
Right.
a park and be like, these are all the different kinds of trees.
Right. They had
And
jobs
so, yeah, they had jobs to do. And my parents were like, we don't want that for you. And so, but Viraj thinks it's dumb. He's like, the kid doesn't care. They're not going to remember.
to do. Well, I mean, I think that might be somewhat true, but at the same time, it may not make a huge difference, but at least if it makes any difference at all, it was towards enrichment. Because whatever you do, I don't remember much about being 2, if anything. But, I mean, who's to say that unconsciously that didn't still affect and shape me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. It's got to be better than just watching TV all day,
Oh, yeah.
which would be annoying and boring. So at least the adults get out,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go see Matisse or something.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, hopefully at some point I will be able to find a way to feel some kind of relationship to Atlanta.
Are you going stir crazy, not having a job? Do you feel like you've kind of like lost all the stuff you can do? Because yeah, I was talking to Erica last night. I was like, I don't know how long I would be able to go if I didn't have a job or something like school or something just consistent. I think in my whole life I was talking to Erica that it seems like basically if I think about my job and what I'm doing from day to day, I kind of just feel like it's a continuation of high school, except I get paid now. Like I have work I'm expected to do, and I want to do it well so that I can. I guess that's different because you have to be at school, and a job could let you go if you suck. So that's a slight difference. But I've always had like the Monday through Friday. The majority of my day goes towards doing something I don't want to do. if I had a choice. And then my free time is just so thoroughly enjoyed and loved that I guess that's the payoff, the trade-off, whatever. And so if I didn't have that to balance my free time, it would be overrun.
It loses meaning.
Yeah.
The power of being able to do whatever you want loses like meaning and purpose
It becomes
when it's
suffocating.
all the time.
Yeah.
I want responsibility. Like I
Right.
want for there to be things that and of course there's stuff like cleaning the house or like
Yeah.
cooking or things like that. But
Even still, those become kind of empty.
yeah, no, I don't like. Honestly, right now I'm uncomfortable because there's nothing that I have to be reading, and all of my entire life. One constant has been that I've had to be responsible for reading something
Right.
and attaining some knowledge or thinking about something. And it's crazy how that kind of like mentality starts to slip away, or like even the willingness to, sometimes I pick up a book if I'm reading something. I mean, the book that I'm reading right now is an autobiography.
Right.
So the knowledge that I'm getting from it is like his perspective on life, which is amazing. But like when I try to read nonfiction,
Yeah.
I get like hung up already.
Yeah.
Just because my brain is like not quite there anymore. Like
Yeah.
to be thinking like I'm like, okay, he just referenced like this theory. Wikipedia, like I have to Wikipedia, like refresh myself on. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like not being responsible for something, not having something to do. And it's been, this is the 3rd month that I haven't had a job, and
Yeah.
about to go on the 4th month, and.
What about a PhD program? Would you be interested in maybe going back to school?
Oh, for sure. But it's the same thing as like wanting to live in the country. It's just like finding a PhD program in a place where Viraj can also find a job and
Yeah.
like actually get a job is highly unlikely.
So you wouldn't be willing to go to a school that's close to you? Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Well, I
whatever.
wouldn't be willing to do a PhD if it wasn't something that I was in a program that I cared about doing. And I mean, I could do a PhD in something that I didn't really care about, but I probably wouldn't finish it. I could start on
Right.
it, but I don't want to do it if I'm not going to finish it. And, Georgia State and Emory don't really have. UGA has what I want, but that would require living there.
What would that be? More on the same vein of what you got your master's in?
Slightly more like activist oriented. So basically, like human geography is basically like planning, but like with a socially aware kick to it.
Sorry, I got distracted.
That's fine.
That person.
Looks like SpongeBob's running through the park.
Well, they have a yellow thing over their face, and it looks like a freaky murderer or something. Anyway, yeah, SpongeBob for sure. It's like the shittiest time I could possibly imagine going for a run. But yeah, sorry to break the.
That's okay.
So UGA, activism, human geography.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to be doing something though.
I have some family friends, and their daughter, I think she got a master's in urban planning. And she went into governmental work like almost immediately after that. And her family, both her parents, both worked for the government as well. And they're from Virginia. And so she's like, they've always been involved in stuff that's going on in the White House. Well, no, not that. Politics have always played like a huge role in their lives and everything. And I think she's living in like Philadelphia now or something. Philadelphia. But it's interesting because, I mean, that kind of education and that training and everything, that's the only thing you could really do at a certain point. And so for you, I can feel that kind of push-pull being between constantly being over or underqualified for whatever you decide to go for. Because I feel like me, where I'm working, I mean, it kind of fits with where my degree was, like, kind of got a bullshit degree. And it kind of prepared me for everything and nothing. And then this job, I think anyone can basically do what I'm doing. I just lucked out to get the position. Because it's not difficult, but it's something that, again, just reminds me of high school, because like anyone could do high school. You're supposed to do it.
If you're willing to.
Yeah, if you're willing to. If you want to be a good societal member and everything. But just reminded me I have to do my taxes soon.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done that yet. It should only take like an hour for me at the most. And, it's such a nebulous process for me because it's all online. And it almost just feels like, why don't they just do this automatically? Like, what the fuck? Why don't just take it out of my paycheck or whatever? This shouldn't be something that people manually have to do these days.
But don't you get money back?
You do, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I'm very ignorant in most things, and that's one of them. But it just seems like it could be an automated process. Like, you think people in like those socialist countries, like Norway and whatever, do you think they have to do taxes, or do you think that's automatically? Yeah, I wouldn't think so, because it's just like it's already done.
Like 40-something% of their income,
tax
goes into the social pie.
Right, and I'd be willing to do that.
Just so you didn't have to do taxes?
No, not just for that reason, but honestly, I don't spend very much money, so I don't think I would miss 40% of it if I knew that meant that I would be entitled to like really good medical care or really good education.
Or like working like 30 hours a week and like free childcare and
maternity leave.
Get to take like a year off work when you have a baby, like you and your wife.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds happier. It sounds like people actually care about you.
It is happier. It's more expensive also. It's
like worth it though.
Hard to even come up with a scheme to do that when there's so many, there are so many fewer people in those countries than there are here. And then it's like not as diverse.
Right.
So there wasn't slavery. So it's like so many complications have happened in this country that, it's like talking to my parents about universal health care is like, we talked about it when I went home, and it was so fascinating because I was like, well, people should just have health care. And they were like, yeah. But, but it's like messing up the system. I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, it's nice to think that every problem can be fixed, but it's not necessarily true. I mean, I think the biggest thing that you said that's probably the best point is just the sheer numbers. We've got over 250 million people here, and it's like, it's just not scalable.
Yeah.
And it's just, if everyone, and especially given the fact that America has so many unhealthy people, I mean, that would be very, very, very hard to do. Because those Nordic countries too seem like they have mostly like young, or not young, but they have fit people who understand like the value of physical activity. Maybe I don't know if haven't seen the true like scope of population in those countries, but they seem like they're usually healthier.
Well, it's a different lifestyle. I mean, people in this country are unhealthy for a number of reasons, but one of them is like poverty makes people unhealthy.
Right. Lack of education about health in general, probably.
Yeah. And so, like, when you live in Sweden and everybody has a summer house and you, like, get to go there 2 months out of the year and, like, sit in a sauna all day and windsurf or whatever they do, like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And, like, you're not going to be, a 400-pound person doing that.
Right.
But here, everything is just so rushed and expensive, and
it seems like it's just very impersonal.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no sense of communal care. But I think that's bound to happen, though, if you have so many people. And again, the diversity doesn't help either, because then there's in-group, out-group stuff, and it's like, I don't care about those people because they don't look like me. They don't have the same values as me. In Japan, which has almost a comparable position or population number, I think they've got like 130 million. That sort of uniformity and just homogeneity, you can feel it, especially if you come from America and you know what it feels like to, like, there's no like group responsibility here in America. Like, if people want to litter, they're probably not going to get chastised for that. So people might look at them or something, but in Japan, it feels like you would like get your hands cut off, and there's just a general understanding, since everyone is of the same background, of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And that can be a crutch and a limiting, like, xenophobic type inspirational thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it has good results, too. And maybe I'm just biased, but I think I prefer that kind of oneness of mind. It has good benefits.
Yeah.
I think they've got a pretty good healthcare system, too, in Japan. But I'm not really sure.
Also the highest suicide rate in the world.
Yeah. Again, yeah. Pressure,
I mean,
societal pressure.
I guess they're...
It's only like 35,000 people a year. It's not that much.
Didn't need them anyway.
Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket. You just clean them off the train and move on. Everyone gets on to work. I think train jumping is like one of the number one ways of doing it, since everyone uses the train.
Just jump in front of the train?
Jump in front of the train, yeah, onto the tracks.
Dang.
That's a pretty brutal way to go out.
That's, yeah. Yeah.
And on that note, it's been another episode of Territories. These batteries have still not died. I don't get it.
It's us. We're giving
we're
our
giving
power
okay.
to the recorder.
Okay.
It's draining the life out of my feet. And my feet are
cold?
like, no, they're not cold. I don't think they have blood in them right now. So they are cold.
Cut them
but they
open and find out.
got like really tingly and weird.
Yeah, I don't like those feelings. And the rain is still raining. So,
Kenneth lost a bet.
yeah, I thought it would stop raining since all the birds were out collecting worms, but it has lessened for what it's worth. Yeah.
That wasn't really the bet, though.
No, it wasn't the bet. There was no stipulation of, like, almost bets.
So, question.
Okay.
Do you think somebody's gonna die tonight on The Walking Dead?
Well, someone died last week, right, Noah? Did they have any other minor characters?
Spoiler!
Oh, yeah. Well, if you listen to Territories and you haven't already seen that episode, then that's,
Shame on you.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
I think
left?
they're gonna kill a main character.
Like a main character?
Yeah. I think that so this is the next to last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to kill
Okay.
Carol
Okay.
or Daryl.
No, not Daryl.
I think Daryl's gonna die.
I don't think Daryl's gonna die.
I think Daryl's gonna die.
I think that there's gonna be like Ferguson-style riots if Daryl dies. I think what you said about Carol, now that I think about it, I think she could die. They've killed a lot of the female characters off that you know, they were pivotal to getting them to where they are, but then they just kind of throw them under the bus.
Yeah.
I was really sad when Tyrese died.
I like Tyrese.
He was like a good guy, solid guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was sad. But yeah, I think, who else? So we got Carol, I think that's a good contender. I think Rick's probably not going to die. Not the next episode. Do you think Carl's ever going to die?
No. I think Carl's going to be like the new generation.
He's going to be the Walking Dead, the last one alive.
I think that he's gonna make it to be like I think he's gonna be like the leader of like whoever's left. I think he's gonna be important.
Yeah. I don't mean it in a horrible way, but I wouldn't mind it if the baby got lost sometime along the way. Just I don't see the point of carrying that on. I guess it's supposed to be like hope. Or something.
Or something.
But,
or just like that. I mean, there are babies, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess there's Baby. That's the only baby I've seen in the whole show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking you, is that right? Is that the only one I've seen?
Yeah.
I want to see a zombie baby. Why not, right? Why have
Well, there was that little girl at the beginning.
No, I want a baby. Like, I want a baby that's crawling around. Yeah, like, I want to see that. I think people would be upset if they saw that.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be worse than watching that kid get torn apart.
Noah?
That was just, like, too violent to even...
I felt so bad for Glenn.
I mean, Glenn. Let's talk about people who are gonna die.
Yeah.
Glenn and Maggie are gonna, like, die together. Viraj wants them to die together. And it's almost like I'm just waiting for them to die, and I just want it to go ahead and happen because
I like Glenn,
I like Glenn a lot. I just get so anxious every time, every Sunday night. Viraj almost has to, like, make me watch it, because I'm like, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever watch Talking Dead afterwards?
I hate that guy. Whoever that guy is,
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
needs to get gone.
He's always got his skinny ties on. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, dude, come on. Who are you? Wear your regular clothes. I can tell someone dressed you up.
One episode of Territories we should do.
Yeah.
We should go to the mall and like get you like dressed up in a suit.
I really don't like this plan so far.
I have
Everything you
never
said.
seen you like. I've seen you in pictures,
Yeah.
moderately dressed up, which means like khakis
Yeah.
and like a shirt tucked in.
That's correct.
I've
Yeah.
never seen you in like a well-fitting like suit.
I don't have a well-fitting suit. I had a suit once for like homecoming that I got, and
You
I
went
wouldn't.
to homecoming?
I went to homecoming, yeah, in high school.
Did you have a date?
I did, yeah. A girl that my sister was friends with, cool person, Caitlin Martin. She was on the swim team with Lauren, and somehow we ended up going to homecoming together. And I don't really remember how it came together, but I remember feeling like it would be okay. Then realizing like what was going to have to happen for us to do that, and then not being happy that I had said yes to the whole experience because it was very awkward. I mean, I understand now why alcohol exists, and we had none of it that night, and so it was just very, very awkward. I was with my sister's like swim group. I was kind of the odd man out, just because I was the only one not on the swim group, and it's just like this is like not fun.
I had a
So-
similar homecoming experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just pretty.
Cheers. Yeah.
Right?
It just sucks. I mean, it's
That's-
just being young, I guess.
Not my. I mean, people had fun.
I saw them.
witnessed people
Yeah.
having fun.
I wouldn't have believed it otherwise.
But
yeah.
me and my date, Morgan Castello,
Mm-hmm.
very beautiful man.
Mm.
Just, you know.
No chemistry there.
Oh, I mean, there was maybe, I don't know. I can't really remember. But there was definitely like a chemistry in the fact that we both did not want to be there the instant.
Yeah.
And like I think the moment we got to homecoming, someone had vomited and like then somebody like slipped in it. So they had to turn all the lights on. So like the
wow.
minute we walked in, like the lights in the gym were being turned on.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like mid like hump on the dance floor, just like dirt. Like I would love if there was still a high school somewhere out there that had like classic 90s movie,
Yeah.
like choreographed dancing where people weren't like grinding on one another. People were just like, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. But it was just so. I was like, why are you touching each other's genitals? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got grinded on by some girls, some like very large women. And I was like, what the fuck is this? This is like, these people just like, how could you be sober and do this? This is just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever
Grinded.
grinded. I have.
Yeah.
One time, or like once.
Soberly?
No.
Okay.
But it was a gay guy. Like it was like I wouldn't be comfortable grinding on a straight man whatsoever.
See,
I think he was grinding on me. So
Yeah, that's everything you said is very acceptable.
yeah.
But yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I can't close myself off in an environment like that enough to get into something like that. Like, and I kind of don't trust people who can. So it's like if you're surrounded by people who are so into the person that they're with, they're like basically having sex with clothes on. It's just like, it's very uncomfortable to see that and then to have the expectation that maybe you're supposed to be doing that too. No thanks. Not in high school. Not ever. Not sober.
No.
Yeah, no. Can't do it.
Do you dance?
No, I hate to dance. I hate to dance. Can I say I hate to dance? 3 times is poetry, and I definitely hate to dance. I don't like it. I can't free myself that much. And I definitely can't do it sober.
Does Erica dance?
I don't think that she's a big fan of it, but she can dance way better than I can. Actually, you know, funny you ask, because I just remembered now that before Erica and I were even dating, we actually went to this place a couple times, just like as roommates, kind of. I don't remember what it was called. Some kind of Irish bar that our other roommate, Julie, kind of took us to. And I actually did dance there a lot, but not sober, again. That's being the key. Like, drink an entire bottle of wine before you go and then get drinks there, kind of thing. I remember having boots on. And my dancing style when left to...
Show me.
No. It's a lot of footwork. Like, I don't do anything above the waist. I basically just crip walk. Because that's the last time I tried to learn how to do a dance, it was me being taught how to crip walk in elementary school, like in 4th grade. And so I just did that for a long time. I was wearing really heavy boots, and so it like made me really sore the day after. Because I was, I don't know why I was wearing these boots, but yeah, I hate to dance. I hate it.
You know, though, I don't trust people who don't dance.
Well, I'm willing to be distrustful in your eyes to have to forego that horrible flailing.
I just feel like, I don't know, man. It's fun. I love to dance.
I just don't. I cannot feel good about it. I feel so
block.
stupid. Yeah.
You mentally blocked person.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I feel like to a degree, in a very abstract way, the way I bike is kind of like a dance, but in the same way that like a Native American might dance for a specific purpose, like to make it rain.
You know what?
What?
I've never seen you on your bike.
Well, you have, but you mean like in the wild when I'm actually in the midst of it?
Yeah, I've never seen you.
It's way. It is like a dance. It is like a meditation. Like it's cool because usually I don't put my feet down from the moment I get on my bike until the moment I get off of it. So I can bike for like 25 miles and not touch the ground because I'm balancing whenever I stop, and I'm going really fast and doing all these calculated moves, and it's very choreographed.
Well then,
but it's like a free
I'll
dance.
allow it.
Okay, so you're saying I have my own style of dancing.
Yeah, but
Not in a club, not to stupid music. That's another thing I don't like about dancing. It's the music that's chosen at parties and at clubs. I don't like. It makes me feel stupid to dance to popular music because I don't want to like popular music. So when I hear it and then I see what people are doing in reaction to hearing this music, it's just like I don't consider myself a person who can do that. So again, mental block. I won't let myself.
One of the funnest nights I ever had was dancing, and it was with a friend. It was with Ryan, and it was the first time we ever hung out. And we went out for dinner, and then just like ended up was like, well, let's go back and hang out at your apartment, but like we need to get cigarettes, which led us to a place. There was a bar where we had shots, and then walking back to the car, we walked past this place where there was dancing, or like. Okay, and we went in and like had more shots and danced for a while, and I was like, okay, let's go home.
Yep.
And then ended up at this place called Go Bar in Athens, and it was like 2 a.m. And we were the only people there, and they had a DJ and a disco ball, and we were both completely trashed. And we were just like dancing with the disco ball, and like I didn't understand like how space and time worked in that moment. Like I was like so out of myself. But those, like, I feel like if it happened to you, like, if it wasn't, like, an intentional, like, we're going out to dance, and you got kind of drunk and then, like, lost yourself a little bit, I feel like you can enjoy it.
No, I have had those experiences. However, I would never want to ever make that a habit because I have to get, like, unhealthily drunk to enjoy it.
Well,
and I don't enjoy that anyway.
No, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
That was the smoke.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
It actually smelled like the Epcot ball a little bit, so I enjoyed that. It was a nostalgic smell. I mean, once every 5 years, I don't mind doing that. But I don't have an emptiness in my life that needs to be filled by dancing when I get drunk, you know.
Okay.
So I'm sorry you don't trust me anymore.
That's okay.
But frankly, I don't trust you either. I don't trust you being able to do all those weird things with your arms and move around. And no, people are meant to be stationary, sitting.
You don't like to sit.
No, I don't like to sit. And with that, another episode of Territories elapses. The rain has calmed down a bit.
Yeah. Do you want to walk back?
I feel like maybe it's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh.
A little leaf just fell. How sweet.
That was a very nice moment.
Yeah. It's, I guess these trees haven't gotten the memo yet that it's spring. They still look winterized.
Well, I mean, how could they trust with a day like today?
Yeah,
Just
seriously.
thrown right at us.
These stupid dogwood pear trees are out in force.
They are. So beautiful.
What are they called? Dogwood pears?
No.
Bradford pears.
Bradford pear.
Dogwood pears.
That's a dogwood over there.
The pink?
Yeah. So I guess this is it.
This has been a hodgepodge episode, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely like this.
Yeah.
I don't like the first clip that we did.
The first two? Or the first one?
The second clip was fine.
Okay.
The first clip had good moments, but, you know, I felt like it was a little meta.
Well, yeah, a little bit. I think anytime you go back and you listen to it with a fresher pair of ears that wasn't the ears that heard what you said when you said it, I think you'll be happier with it because it'll pass by a lot faster than you remember it.
Okay.
And then everything that we recorded after that point is definitely a larger part of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how long has this clip been going on?
50 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, we're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got about an hour and a half already.
Okay.
50, we got 100 minutes. Talk about meta.
Meta. Alrighty. Well, sorry about last week.
For
For
Allie.
me, who I listen.
Okay. Yeah. For yourself. Yeah. Self-interest. Yeah.
But, you know, we're back on the train.
We're back on the train.
It's a much better day today.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. We could let our minds wander a little bit more.
Agreed.
Thanks for listening. You just did a curtsy. An audible curtsy.
I wonder if I could make it. There.
Cool. I'll amplify that section.
Territories.
T69.
269.
You've been listening to
A production of
The Podcast Empire. Spread the word.